Welcome in, welcome in, welcome once again to the newest edition of 3 In, 3 Out, the most unique Seahawks recap show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner, and I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandon Schultz. And Brandon, I don't care that it's 2 days later. I am still on cloud 9 as we watch the stupid 49ers lay flat, face down on the earth, and Geno went in the touchdown with only 12 seconds to go, and we get that elusive W versus the stupid 49ers. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. I can't think of just a better photo that captures the feeling of that entire game than Geno Smith screaming as he's scoring a touchdown and Fred Warner face down on the turf in the background. It was a beautiful way to end the game with just an amazing memory.
Yeah, that picture, as folks would say, that picture goes hard, and it is like emblematic. It's instantly iconic, right? And now maybe Brandon, maybe it's time for a little run. Do you feel like everybody's talking, oh, this was the signature, McDonald's win, this is the signature Geno win? That's all well and good, but if we don't go on a little bit of a run and make something of it, it could get lost. It could be forgotten. And I don't want it to be forgotten. I want to hold on to it for much, much longer. Do you think we have a little run in us now that we did get this huge, iconic W?
I don't know. I know that going in that I wanted this to be like our Seahawks Super Bowl. And so now that it's happened, I want to be content and satisfied, especially as I drink my Niners tears.
Wonderful.
But I still have some of those same concerns from over the bye week. I don't know if one game fixes everything, because just as easily as we are celebrating this 49ers win, we have the Cardinals coming up next.
Yeah, we do. And they're playing pretty good ball. And we're going to have many other shows coming up later this week. We'll have What If for the preview. Of course, we'll have the flagship show. We'll do everything, and we will look at that game, and maybe we'll start teasing it a bit later today. They're playing pretty good football. They ain't the Cardinals of even last year or the year before that. They're an okay football team, and they've beat good teams. They've beaten, and they've barely lost to really good teams. So I think they're pretty good.
First half of the season Cardinals.
First half of the season Cardinals.
Talk to me, in 3-4 weeks.
That's exactly right. So with that, for those that might be new to 3 In, 3 Out, maybe first time here, part of the Seahawks podcast network, of course, we're going to dive into the nooks, into the crannies, all the buttery goodness. And we're not going to talk typically about the major moments. However, we are going to look at the micro moments, the plays behind the plays that make it all up. And that's what makes 3 In, 3 Out so special, because I think it's for fanatics like you and I. And then, Brandon, is there anything that the flock, they need to know about that you want them to go do, or, anything we need to talk about for the Hawkra, that good stuff we got to put out there?
Well, we always want to help support our partners, and one of our partners is MyBookie. You can use the promo code Hawkra, HAWKRA, and you get a 100% deposit match. And so, whether you're feeling good about our Seahawks going forward, maybe you're feeling bad about the Niners going forward, and you just want to enjoy and savor their badness by placing a little bet, head on over to mybookie.ag and use that promo code Hawkra for a 100% deposit match.
There you go. And of course, on Saturdays, we'll have PNW Prop Stars. Wilson won it again. He went 3 for 3 with his regular scheduled bets. I didn't hit any of mine, and I blame AJ Barner, and we'll talk about that maybe as a little foreshadowing as to something we might see a little bit later on. So, but use that code Hawker, the promo code there, and good luck out there. All right. So, Brandon, let us get into this. I do see something that I think we have to call out. There it is. We, of course, have our Ryan 911 with our live executive producer with the $9.99 super chat. Ryan, what can we say? But thank you, my man. You are ever consistent, and we appreciate you probably even more than you know. But he also says, I'm in for a run. Clinton convinced me. Go Hawks. Hey, by the way, Brandon, one other little teaser. Yes, we're going to go through all 3 In, 3 Out. but we also have a little extra for our Discord members today. Why don't you fire them up and we'll get this show started.
All right. Yeah, head on over to our Discord, and we are going to be dropping a link in the chat there, and you can be joining us live to give your live in or out once we get to our From the Flock segment. And I see some people in the chat recognizing this this Niners Tears glass. We might have a surprise for one of our folks who ends up joining us a little bit later.
Ooh, whoa, little teaser. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon. So we've been doing 3 and 3 out for a long, long time now. But it's been 5 of the last 6 weeks. We have not won. I know there's a rule. I forgot it. I need help, good buddy. What's the one rule on 3 and 3 out? Please hit me with it, my man.
Clinton, when we win, we start with an in.
We start with an in. We're going to get to those ins, of course. I'm titling this one, JS Him. Is this time for a run? And, whether or not we end up having a JSN in or out, that don't really matter too much. I just want to call out the fact that we're seeing the second-year player, as we get into these, the second-year player blossom before our eyes, Brandon. 60 receptions on the year. Do you realize that he is on pace? Right now, he's on pace to beat Tyler Lockett's Seahawks franchise record for 100 receptions in the season that he set in 2020. Can you believe it, Brandon? He's on pace to break that record.
I wouldn't have believed it 3 weeks ago, but after these last 2 games, he's absolutely on track, and I'm here for it. If they can continue this chemistry that they've developed between Geno Smith and JSN, especially with some of the stuff we saw from him on 3rd down, and especially on the final drive of the game, it was like some of the things that we've seen from Tyler as being that go-to 3rd down guy when you need it the most. And that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, you say it perfectly. 4 receptions on that last drive, and just he was the guy. And I've mentioned the name Jacob Gibbs before a couple times over. He's the dude who does Beyond the Box Score from CBS Fantasy Sports. They put out a show every Monday, and they dive a little bit deeper into really the stats behind things. I like it. It's kind of a parallel for me to 3 and 3 out in many ways. And he put out a stat just on Monday that said, hey, the game before the Rams game, JSN got 42% of what they call the first read takes. 42%. So basically that means 42% of the time versus the Rams, JSN was the first read and got delivered the ball by Geno 42% of the time. It's like, wow, that's really up there. DK comes back, and we all love DK. First half of the game, Brandon, this last game versus the Niners, DK got 50% of the first read takes in the first half. JSN was down to 12%. Second half, they flipped the script completely. JSN goes back to 42% and has a huge second half. And you mentioned that the last drive. So are we seeing that momentum? We certainly have seen 2 games in a row with over 100 yards. Are we seeing maybe him becoming kind of the straw that stirs our drink, and maybe Grubb realizing, hey, this offense actually should run through JSN and nobody else? I don't know. Quick take on that before we get into our ins and outs.
I don't know if I would go as far to say have it run through JSN, because I still think that DK Metcalf is the better of the 2 players. And I would, if I'm going to pick a guy, but having 2 of those guys is great too. So I'm not going to, I don't want to limit it to just one guy is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand that. I think and I hear you. And the point I think Jacob was making about the kind of the consistency and predictability of like JSN, he separates more than even DK does. And at the end of the day, he does have better hands, and he's also running a much different route tree than DK runs, right? So a little bit more predictable with going to him versus the balls that go to DK, just from history's sake. All right, so
these last 2 games.
Yeah, well, that's what we want to continue. That's what we want to continue to see. Right?
We didn't really see it as much, maybe in the game against the Patriots.
Yep.
So, it's great that we've seen it for 2 games. I'm going to need to see it more.
All right, let's make it a 3rd game in a row, and then maybe we'll talk about it next week. All right, we talked about youtube.com YouTube.com/Seahawkers podcast. Make sure you're joining, subscribing. You could join as a member out on YouTube. That's awesome. You can go to gettintheflock.com to become a member. And for a few bucks a month, you can be part of the Discord. We're going to have Discord people on live with us later. And so, hey, folks out there that are planning on joining in, have your cameras on. Let's try and keep the cursing to a minimum if we can, but let's have some fun with it. All right. So we talked about, I put this out there. One last thing, by the way, Brandon, I asked folks out there, I said, hey, now that we won this game, what do we expect for the rest of the season? We put this poll out on YouTube, and the majority, 50%, right there, said we expect to win the NFC West. A chunk, 37%, are still saying, 8 to 9 wins. We're going to barely miss the playoffs. And then a smaller percentage saying, tough schedule coming up where, we're not even going to get to 8 wins essentially. So half the flock believe, Brandon, that we're about to go on this run. So hopefully by next week, we could put you into that majority there, Brandon.
Hey, I would be voting with the majority on this because I am feeling that way. It's just I want to savor this victory and not look ahead, right? Just give me a couple of days just to continue to savor this victory.
All right, fair enough. All right, so we talked about it. We are going to get to that first in. We do have video. I've got that queued up. Brandon, there's a whammy. I need you to hit it. Let's get rocking and rolling. Oh, that whammy hits a bit different when it's a victory whammy, does it not, Brandon?
I love it. I wanted to really hammer it, but I know that I've got to take it a little bit easy because I'm going to need it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to break it right on the very first go of it.
Right. I understand. We got 5 more to go, and two more of those are going to, and then we got your Brandon. We got a lot to go do. All right. So calling this one, you see it on screen there on YouTube, calling it Smothers Brother. It's a 0-0 tie game. Very often I like to go, can I find something in the first few moments that is tickling my fancy that I want to call out? You can see on screen there, it's quarter 1, 13:37 to go. It's the first third down of the game. First third down. The Niners are at their own 33-yard line, and I'll pull it up here. Let's pull this up. We got the video, so let's go to this. So what are we looking at here? By the way, folks, as you'll see real quick that I chunk things up into smaller little video bites, just so folks know why we're doing that. Well, you got to do that to play the NFL rules out on YouTube, so that's what we're doing. But you can see Purdy back in shotgun. You got Christian McCaffrey offset to his left. They got like an 11 personnel thing out there, and it's Jawan Jennings down by us. And you'll see at the very last second, you're going to see Tariq Woolen just scoop up there and get into a man-to-man and get in his face. And then let's watch the way that Tariq plays the very first third down of the game, Brandon. I'll let it play, highlighting it for everybody out there. Boom, a little bit of a jab, gets him off his rocker. And we're going to see it a couple more times here. Boom. And I purposely rolled it through in these little bits, highlight it a little bit quicker, a little bit more here. Look, gets that perfect jab, gets him off balance. And there's one more here, even a little bit closer. Just jabs him, gets him off balance, does not let him get deft, does not let him get that first down anywhere close to it. Basically keeps him a half yard short, Brandon, and away we go. Niners are punting. We're getting the ball back. Tariq setting the tone early. What do you think about our in number 1?
I love it. Tariq Woolen on the day, the 4th highest graded Seahawks defender by PFF, and finishing with, one of the nice things about his finish is he finished with a nearly 80 in terms of his tackling grade. And he had 5 tackles on the day, which you may not be so happy to hear that, but it is a season high as it turns out. And that play right there, that was one of them, as he keeps him from getting the first down by pushing him out of bounds. And just that extra little physicality off the jump, I think, was enough to help redirect him and make sure that he didn't pick up that first down.
Yeah. So why Brandon might be saying that I might not be happy that Tariq actually got to 5 tackles. For those that watch PNW Prop Stars, I took Tariq Woolen under 5 tackles because he had not hit it all year long as one of my bets. I'm like, it was like minus 175. I'm like, He hasn't done it all year. Not, with solos and assists. And of course, I was very happy to bust on that, but just kind of funny. I can't buy a win on PNW Prop Stars this year. So
I think that Adam referred to that bet as free money.
Yes,
and,
yes, that was it.
That's
that
what ruined
was
it for you.
That was it. Yeah, that's free money. I'm like, oh Lord. Once he did that, I'm like, might as well literally bet the farm the other way, and it happened. All right, let us get over. Not all roses. We got some things to hit that were not so great. Let's hit that whammy, please, sir. Okay, that means we're hopping on over to out number one. And again, if you're new here for 3 in 3 out, this is what we do. We're going to go through these little moments, the ins, the outs, the sober yin, the raging yang, and it's part of the deal. It's not all great. One of these days, we can do an all-in show, but it's kind of a subcategory that has to be a shutout. Even a road win versus the Niners does not qualify. So I'm calling this one oblivious. It is a 0-0 tie game. Quarter one, 8:59 to go. Now we have the ball. It's 3rd down and 9, and we are at the San Francisco 27-yard line. So we get the ball back. We have a nice drive going, and then this thing happens. So Brandon, I'll get this set up. But we got Eric the Seahawks saying another in. Witherspoon really shined today. He absolutely did. And Eric wrote a nice comment to me today, to us out on Facebook. So Eric, what up, dude? Glad that you're here, and appreciate you doing it. And what's Car got for us?
Yeah, she's saying the all-in show will be the Jets game, or maybe the Bears game.
There we go. We got a couple of
Carly's calling the shutout.
There we go.
One of those two. How about both, Carly?
Why not both? Just 12 ins and with those 2 games. I love it. Why not this week? Why not? The Cardinals are not that good. We said they're good, but maybe not that good. So maybe this week. All right.
Home shutout. I'll take it.
Yeah, we got one more. What do we got on screen?
Saving Cent Studio. I just picked up JSN on my fantasy team as a backup receiver option for bye weeks. Hope he can pop off if needed. That's surprising if JSN's available on the bench in your fantasy league.
Yeah, maybe it's only a 10-team league, one of the more shallow ones. That's possible. But hey, great freaking pickup. Let's go. All right. So speaking of let's go, and we got our second out here. So remember, this is 3rd and 9. I'll set it up here, get it rocking so everybody can see it on screen. And there we go. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm highlighting here. You see Geno in shotgun. We got Zach Charbonnet off to his right-hand side there. We got trips right, in a little bunch formation down the screen towards us that everybody can see. But by the way, Brandon, I figured out how to highlight things. So I did that.
Look at that.
Yeah. You know what I did? I Googled how to highlight in the thing I'm editing in, and then there was a video on how to do it. So that was great right there. It was wonderful. So we got Charbonnet there. Now look, I think everybody remembers how this ends. It ends badly. We'll play it forward. What I think I need to talk about is he really looks lost out here. And again, I'm going to go cycle through these in small bits. His start time, and that's what I really want to call out, is look at, this is real time, right? Just watch how long it takes him, Brandon, to move his feet, to begin to move. Just take a look. Everybody watch that real quick. I'm going to play it. Okay. Just watch Charbonnet. What? It's like a good half a second. Like after Geno has the ball, that he so I don't know. Was he not expecting the snap? It's really delayed. And then he doesn't go help out Abe, who's brand new here, right? First game of the year, which is awesome. Highlighting it here, slowing it down a bit. He's looking at the stunt, which ends up getting home. Decides to do nothing. I think I have one more. Yeah. Decides to not do anything. Kind of looks left, looks right, does nothing. Very ineffective. And ultimately causes a sack. Now we got Money Myers on the even year, comes through, had a great game. But Brandon, the Zach Charbonnet plays, and this one in particular, they're wearing a little thin on our Seahawks. And I wonder if you got something to say about it.
That play, in the moment, it felt like it was on Charbonnet, but I think you saw here, he was trying to read and react to just, I think, too many things. And I think his job initially was to take Bosa if he were to come inside. And since, he could kind of sense that Lucas was taking him outside, I think that's what led him to maybe look to see if he was going to need to pick up that stunt. So The reaction time,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so bothered by, because I think he's watching to the left, but he's also trying to be mindful of Bosa. And when he didn't have to deal with Bosa on the interior rush in between Bradford and Lucas, then I think he thought he was good, but then he ended up just being in the way.
Okay, I accept how you're breaking it down.
Because Tomlinson was the one who got his.
Yep.
He was pushed back so far into the pocket that that Geno had nowhere to step up.
Yeah, I think Tomlinson does an okay job trying to pass his guy off, right? And then a less than okay job picking up the stunt.
Right.
So I think he kind of goes 1 for 2 there. And of course, he's got to share some of the blame, because at the end of the day, you're pointing out rightly, his guy is the guy who gets home. It just, I think this is also a part of it, simply being that the Zach Charbonnet snaps seem like we have a much different offense out there when it's the Zach Charbonnet stats, whether he's running the ball or he's supposed to be the best pass protector, but I don't think we're seeing it. So, I mean, look, McDonald and team have clearly been okay with making changes when things are not good enough. Do you suspect that Charbonnet might be on some sort of a hot seat based on, his season so far?
If he is, I don't get any sense of it. And it's interesting just looking at some of the PFF grades and how he grades out. He actually graded out in terms of PFF and how they look at it as the top member of the team in terms of pass block. And he was only in there for 2. And so they're looking at this and saying, well, this wasn't necessarily his fault. I think that what it comes down to for me, though, and on this play in particular, he's got to make a decision. And he either needs to decide and help out with that stunt that I think he's recognizing it, and he just he waited a little bit too long.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that.
I'm with Eric the Seahawk, though. What is it going to take for Kenny McIntosh to get some snaps?
Well, that'd be nice, right? I mean, it's been 2 years now. That's a great point, Eric. Thank you for chiming in. I would like to see Kenny at this point, and I don't know the extent of D. Williams' injury. It didn't look like something that might be short. So I do wonder if at the very least we'll see more Kenny Mac on kickoffs and we get a chance to see him there. Maybe he's a spark there and therefore he earns a snap or 2. But I'm with you, dude. I think he deserves some love and some run back there. The other thing too is just like PFF. PFF also gave like Ernest Jones a really bad rating. So sometimes it's like I only trust it as far as I could throw it, because I know what Ernest Jones did and he was nasty on the field. Now I get it, a running back blocking versus inside linebacker, and it's a little bit more difficult for PFF to grade that out, but it's pretty egregious because Ernest freaking Jones was awesome, Brandon.
Yeah, I have no idea why he graded out so low. It doesn't make much sense. It was his run defense grade, his pass rush grade, and his coverage grade all kind of below average, which, yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me considering the amount of impact that he had on the field. But hey,
yeah,
that's we heard Abe Lucas on the radio this week. He doesn't put a lot of stock into it either. So
yes.
We should we should take those numbers with a grain of salt.
It is what it is, right? So, all right, all good. Let us get to hit that gongarino. We got some more ins to get to. Let's do it. Okay. By the way, seeing some of our flockers queuing up on screen. I'm excited to get some of them on a bit later. So hang tight, everybody. Hope you can hang, because we obviously got to get through the ins, the outs, the Brandon, and the MVC. We got a lot to get to. All right, but in number 2, here we are. I'm calling this one, Brandon, a sneaky sunset. Is that enough of a clue? Do you know where I'm going with that without even looking at the other stamp there? Sneaky sunset.
Sneaky sun. No, I have no clue.
No clue. All right.
No, so the clues that you have given me are not enough.
All right, perfect. We'll give you more. It is a 10-6 ball game. We're up 10-6. The 49ers are up 10-6. Just for a tiny bit longer. It is quarter 3, 3:29 to go. It is 2nd and 1, and we are at the 1 yard line. So you probably know where we're going now. We're calling
Now
it,
I know.
yeah.
Now I know where we are.
Now you got it. So we're calling it Sneaky Sunset. And here's why. I am, before I play it, I'll preface it with I'm not enamored with our third and short, fourth and short, third and goal to go run offense. It seems to be fairly predictable. And the last couple of weeks, we've failed to convert third downs on fourth downs, et cetera, et cetera. However, when there's credit to be given and due, let's call that out as well. So as we get this on screen, it's going to play in a second. Okay. So what we got Barner in motion from
Geno's under center. It's a run.
There. Hey, we ran a couple of play actions, I think. Hopefully a few more, but funny enough, we got 13 personnel in here. And one of the 13s that signifies 3 tight ends is AJ Barner. He's going in motion right to left across the screen. But Brandon, who is sitting there? Who's the beef sitting at fullback at number 61? Do you know who that is?
Oh, one of our offensive linemen. Who's 61?
It's in the clue, the sunset, the sneaky sunset.
I still don't know. Who is this?
Jalen Sundell. That is Jalen Sundell sitting there, number 61. And why is it sneaky, Brandon?
I have no idea what Jalen Sundell looks like.
Oh, you're going to see later. That might be something to talk about too. But look, he goes. So I love this, Brandon, because it's simple and effective. We're overloading. We're bringing 2 tight ends to the left-hand side. And then Grubb does the okey doke. Sundell goes right. K9 goes left. What does this set up? It sets up K9 to beat one guy. That one guy's a safety. Let's look at this here. What I want folks to highlight is look at Fred Warner and look at the other linebacker. Fred Warner is right at the left goalpost, dead center screen. Fred Warner, number 54. He's going to cue off of sneaky Sundell. Watch the linebackers. Where do they go? Oop, a little step to the left for both of them, but K9 is going the other way. He's got one-on-one versus a safety. Not going to cut it. Not going to cut it. It's a beautiful little play, and it's a little wrinkle that thankfully we put this on tape now, and I like this play. Brandon, you get K9 in that much space, and now he's got to go just put his shoulder against a safety. Good luck. He's getting that yard every single time. Maybe it's another call about K9 should be the one out there to go get a yard. Maybe not Sharps, but a little love for our play caller and for sneaky Sundell dragging, Fred Warner over with him. So we get the gap. How do you feel about it now?
I feel really good about this play. And I think you spotlighted AJ Barner on this one as well for a reason, because he almost gets the 2-for-1
right
at the end. You see him block number 6, and then he goes to hit 27, just can't quite get there, but it's enough of a hit on the outside corner there that
perfect.
K9 has just enough to go straight through number 27.
You said it perfectly. He's in motion, so he's the guy who's going to kick out right here on 6. Boom, that's perfectly done. Okay, to 27's credit, he steps around it, he recognizes it, but it's too late. At that point, it's like enough of an execution from Barner that he gets the kick out he had to go get, just so it's not 2 against 1, which maybe stops K9. But one-on-one with a head of steam, we're not stopping him. He's too strong. He's too fast, too much momentum. And we take the lead here. Man, that's the kind of football I think we all want to go see. And by the way, Brandon, when we scored that, when we freaking punched it at the 1-yard line, how good that make you feel?
Great.
Perfect. We got Eric saying some other stuff. Take it away, man. What's he got?
Eric saying, out seeing KJ Wright standing over there with the whiner Niners. It was like a punch to the gut, but we got the win. We got to finally avenge his treacherousness by having to take the L. And then, after the season, when he gets picked up by a real team to go coach, then, we can support him as long as he's outside of the NFC West.
I love that. The Niners falling apart. They've got a clean house with all their coaches. KJ gets swept up in that madness, and maybe he comes home. That'd be ideal. All right.
KJ will either be pushed to the side and along with all the other defensive staff thrown under the bus by Kyle Shanahan, or he'll be the only one left and promoted to defensive coordinator.
Yes. Either way, he'll get, let's get him out of San Francisco. Speaking of outs, you know what to do. We got to get to it. Okay. Out number 2. We're having some fun. I don't know if this is okay, but I've tried it. So we're calling this one.
I don't think that's the Paul Simon lyric that that I remember.
Oh, it's the one we need for tonight. So we're calling this one Dick Sliding Away. So, and of course, we could all probably, if you know it, then hum it. There's a lot wrong with what I just said. All right. It is 7-6 49ers as we're about to go Dick Sliding Away here. It is the end of the second quarter, 34 seconds to go. It's the 4th and 3, which becomes a 4th and 8 after we take the 5 yards, and Seattle's from our own 44 about to punt. Remember, it was 4th and 3. We were at, what does that make it? The 49-yard line. So basically midfield. By the way, Brandon, I am not here to argue that we should go for it. I was with you. I know that you and Adam, discussed it, and Adam really wanted to go for it. I was actually, and I thought they made the right move. So just to put that out there, do you still, in the moment you said you could have went for it, but you were cool with the punt? I was actually team punt all the way because I thought we played too well to give them a chance to get like one pass to Juwan Jennings and then attempt at like a 50-yard field goal to steal 3 points. I thought that would be a bad move. Looking back on it, before we get into the Dick Sliding Away, you still feel good about the fact that we did punt there?
Emotionally, I wanted to go for it, but then it's this pull of emotions versus what my actual brain says. And I think that I was with you because you think about what happens if you don't get it. And I feel like it was more toward the disaster end. If there were a little bit less time left on the clock, then sure. But yeah, with as much time that was still there, I knew that the 49ers weren't going to drive the field. I was fine going into the half 7-6.
Yeah. And I was too. And in my brain, and this is why we're going to get to this out here, it's like, look, you got a chance to just sky the ball up in the air, make them down at the 5-yard line. And at that point, they're probably taking a knee. And then let's just get off the field. But it's not, but the execution was poor. And let's see, this is going to slide through here. Do I have it in the wrong area? I may. Pardon me. Sometimes I put them in the wrong spots, which I may have, ladies and gentlemen. If I did, I will, I'll figure it out. Give me 1 second. We're doing this live, so these things happen. Yes, I absolutely put this.
Look at you.
Either that or I didn't put it in at all. Let's see. It's very possible. I think I didn't
need to put it in.
I think I just completely missed it. Okay, so this is a Dixon poor punt. I have it queued up, but clearly I did not put it in the final video. It happens. Just like Dixon did not execute, I'm going to take the out here. I did not execute. So this is it's like a pooch punt that Dixon gets no air under. It's in the air for like 3 seconds. It's a line drive. And the 49er catches it at like the 15-yard line with time to take it 10 yards upfield to the 25. Man, Brandon, too many times this year, we are getting pinned at the 1, the 2, the 3, and way too many times Dixon's ball is slipping into the end zone. It's not sticking like it was in years past, or he misexecutes here, and it's a poor punt, man. Like, you're punting from your 44. They got the ball at the 25-yard line with 30 seconds to go. We still gave the 49ers a chance. Our defense played well enough to not allow a field goal. But dude, I'm telling you, we're going to get snake bit by poor punting. And as awesome as he has been for his entire career, he's been an all-pro and a Pro Bowler. As awesome as he's been, he is having a very subpar year as our punter. And guess what? I'm going to call it out because Myers has been phenomenal. Dixon has not. We're Dick sliding away. What do you say?
I think it's fine to call him out because with that contract that he has, with as much of a veteran he is, you have higher expectations. And when you have some of those players that aren't living quite up to expectations, we don't know exactly on this play. Was he trying to do one of those where he puts just the kind of wrong spin on it to hopefully cause a muffed punt there down near the goal line. Was that his goal? Maybe, but yeah, it's more of we haven't seen enough of those types of things to, I think, give him the benefit of the doubt, even if it was happening in that situation.
I'm with you. I mean, again, maybe some of the Australian punters have kind of been known for doing some cool things and being able to, spin the ball a certain way, do the knuckle ones and everything. And with that, it was poor execution, and we got to be better. We got to be better. And I think we are gonna hit a scenario, whether it's like the Green Bay game or the Minnesota game, or maybe even next week versus Arizona, where I want to see him stick one at the 1 or 2 yard line so we could put that insane, stupid pressure back on the other teams. Let's put the pressure back on Jordan Love at the 2 yard line, who is throwing a lot of interceptions. Let's put the pressure back on Sam Darnold, who's having a good year, but has not had a good career, and put some just undue pressure on those guys and manifest it from your punt team. Haven't seen that even, I think, once this year. I'm calling for it. So I'm just hoping that, he watches this, he gets him fired up, because nobody wants to be dick sliding away, Brandon. So, all right, if you're good with it, what do you got to do? Let's keep on a rocking. I got it queued up for you, buddy. Okay. This one I know is on screen. I know it's in the video because I started playing it. So in number 3, this one, I've got the MJ connection here. The M and the J connection. 13-10 Seahawks at this point. Quarter 4, 14-21 to go. It is 2nd and 10, and the Niners are at Seattle's 33-yard line. So let's go to the video for this one. And man, we didn't really talk about it in the preamble, if you will, Brandon, but overall, did you have a chance to just rewatch the game in general? And I'll answer my part and say it looked really good live defensively. On the rewatch, it was even better. This was an extremely well put together defense. Did you get a chance to kind of revel in it a second time?
I had to go and I had to find my brand in, so I had homework to do. So yes, I went back through and I saw how awesome our defense was, Clinton.
Oh man, they were flying. Gang tackling, but positionally sound across the board. So dudes did not have cutback lanes. And then if they needed the second or third guy to be there because the first guy was so sound, boom, second guy was there making a tackle. Saw it over and over and over again. And we're going to see an example of that right here. So again, we're calling this up now. It's the start of the 4th quarter. So I'm highlighting Mafe over here, and we're going to get an orbit motion from Deebo Samuel. What did Deebo end up with? 20-something yards? 20-something yards?
Yeah, on a couple of catches.
Yeah. I mean, shut down Ricky Pearsall. Basically nothing, maybe like a negative yard. Shut down.
Oh, one catch, 7 yards.
There you go.
Is that it?
Wow. Amazing. Even better.
Oh,
right?
no, that's his rushing attempts.
Okay,
4 catches, 22 yards.
Still nothing. Basically a goose egg, right? And for a franchise that just paid Ayuk $30 million a year, $30 million for. Meanwhile, Jawan Jennings is their best receiver, so go figure. All right, so we got Mafe highlighted there. You're going to see an orbit motion. I'll let this play out. What I want to call out, it's going to play a few times, is just first and foremost, beautiful job by Mafe. You're going to see it a few more times here as it goes through, but lovely job by Mafe. Gets upfield, just pushes McCaffrey back. That's a mismatch. Chases him to the sideline with the right angle, the right depth, and of course, then we get the cleanup guy. Who do you see on screen cleaning up with a very sound tackle there, Brandon?
Yes, Julian Love on the outside making the tackle, and Love on the day. A solid day for him too. A good job by him, taking away a lot of the deep stuff. And he had the opportunity to be all over the field. He actually led the team in terms of tackling grades on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh, that's beautiful to hear. When I saw this play live, I keep a ledger live, just pencil and paper, old school style. And this was one of the ins, like when the game was live, I was like, boom. I was like, Mafe. And then when I rewatched, I was like, ooh, it's also Jordan Love. But what I said earlier is that Mafe is so good. He's so sound in his edge play that Deebo has no lanes. So Jordan Love understands, okay, he cannot cut back inside. That is Like Batman's got Gotham. Mafe has that covered. He's done his job making Julian Love. I probably said Jordan 12 times, making Julian Love's job so simple. And yes, tackling in the NFL, especially Deebo Samuel, we're used to that. Not so simple. But this is the kind of defense, Brandon, that, man, you see this on film. I don't know. It just gets me excited seeing 2 weeks in a row like this. I feel like we could hang with basically any team in the NFL if we are this sound, Brandon.
Yeah, great to see Julian Love get that tackle out there. And Mafe, because of the press that he puts on McCaffrey, it makes Deebo have to go. He can't get to the corner quite as fast because he does have to worry about then running into his own teammates. So it does give Julian that little bit of extra time to get out there.
Dude, you're spot on, man. Spot on. So I'm so glad we do video when we can with this show now. That's exactly it, right? He doesn't just like shed CMC. He pushes CMC back a half a yard, which is beginning to impede any sort of angle that Deebo might have been able to take. It's a perfect call out, dude. So well done there, and well done for our run D. Our run D
tackle
was
for a loss, going to Love and Mafe with the assist.
Dude, I love it so much. All right, let me just get this queued up. And oh, by the way, the celebration, boom, love it. They were all three of those dudes were so fired up at the end of that. All right, let's do the thing. You know the thing is, let's do it. I'm having fun. You having fun, Brandon?
Jordy and Love. We
sure, yeah.
we need to give him some snaps behind center. I know you don't want to take Geno out of there, but let's get our own Julian Love behind center. And just so, it might be easier for you to remember just to flip that switch.
Yeah, I only met his dad at New England and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been calling the guy Jordan Love for the entire year. All right. Well, we like our call outs and our cameos and our references, of course. So on this one, I'm going to call it Release the Hoons. And this is Q3. It is second and 5. And I believe the Niners are, I think it's the Niners. We'll see what the video says, but it is 5:16 to go in that third quarter, and release the Hounds. Let's see what I'm talking about here, Brandon, because geez, even I forget sometimes what we got here. So let's see what we got. We'll go to the videotape and I'll pause it. Okay. So we got the ball. We got Lockett in motion from right to left. Oh yes. So this is actually, it's going to be, let's play it forward. I call it Release the Hounds because, Brandon, we are, I would say, about a half a yard away from this being a 26-yard Kenneth Walker touchdown. Watch how close this is. Watch out. So you get Lockett coming over. Barner gets out there. He's not quite able to get the tackle. I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna show it a few more times. We got the all 22. Gets a little caught inside. Takes the not perfect angle. And safety's able to crash down, and we'll see it one more time here. Barner's trying to get out there, flails the arm out there on 27. K9 gets the first down, which is cool. We like first downs, of course, but not quite able to spring K9. And I like this sideline view real quick because if we pause it right about here, right about there, right? Everybody on screen can see that K9's got that avenue. Now, the one saving grace, in fact, maybe I'll leave it to you because you might pick up on it. But K9 has a seam right there. Barner just is not able to get to the outside on the safety or really even just get into position to kick him out. And we end up with a 5-yard gain. It's a first down. We like it a lot. But Brandon, we were like, I think, a hair away from a 26, 27-yard touchdown for K9's second on the day, or really first. This would have been before the 3rd and 1 touchdown or 2nd and 1 touchdown. But I'm giving it to Barner. He had kind of a rough game. Maybe it's because he dropped passes and I lost my bet on his 25 yards, but I want more from the rookie, and we didn't quite get it here. What do you think?
Yeah, there's a couple different things, and I can see in chat too with Nate Schutz picking up on that K9 maybe needed to go inside of Lockett, but that could have been because I think is it Cross? No, it's not Cross that whiffs on
Tomlinson.
his.
I think it's Tomlinson.
Tomlinson that whiffs.
I think so.
And so if one of two things happens, if Tomlinson picks up he does a little chip. Oh, and then he gets hammered by Warner. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's Warner blowing up the
Yeah.
play on Tomlinson. And if because Barner is, I think, if he doesn't even get a hand on the dude initially and just kind of jets to his spot, then I think he seals off the block that he needs to. It was good enough for a first down. But how about Tyler Lockett maybe delivering the most effective block of everybody on this play?
Just as that Lenore too, I believe, right? So just putting Lenore in his place who was running his mouth after the game for whatever reason. Like, all right, dude, you're happy you just made all that money. Good for you. But you got tossed around this game by several people. And I know we got that coming from the flock, so I'll save that. By the way, when I put this out on Barner and I was rewatching it a little bit later before the show, Nate Shoots, great job. It's like, you know what? I actually do think that Barner's expecting him to go right through this hole, right? If you can see my cursor, and he's expecting the safety to kind of try and stick inside. And I think because Fred Warner's really good at football is it's not even like Lakin's fault. Fred Warner's maybe the best linebacker. He's exactly. So he really blows this up. So it's maybe just Fred Warner saving a touchdown by being really good at football. Lakin couldn't do what he was, what he meant to go do, but I still wanted Barner to, just take a bit of a different angle and recognize the safety angle.
Well, and you can see at the end, like he just tries to get a handout on him. He's like, oh yeah, I should be blocking that guy, but I'm not there yet. I'll reach.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I will give Barner for and how we could turn it out to an in, of course, is that at least he didn't hold, right? That is a area where you go out there and you put your mitts on a guy and you spin him. And then it's an absolute obvious flag. That was not the case. So I could turn that out into an in and say savvy play by the rookie to not get a holding.
I can turn it out into the end by giving it to Tyler Lockett.
And I think you did. All right, perfect. So we called that Release the Hounds. I love it so much. That was a lot of fun. We went through our 3 ins, our 3 outs. The only crappy part about starting with an in is you end with an out, but we changed that a couple of years ago. We have the brand in where you get to serve up your in. Winners get sprinkles. We only do this when we win, and I savor it every single time. So Brandon, where are you taking us with your brand in this week, please?
All right, we are going to 152 left in the second quarter. The Niners have been backed up a little bit. 3rd and 23. And so it's not much of a consequential play, but it's one thing that I did want to call out in this game was the fact that our Seahawks only gave up one passing play over 20 yards on the day.
Wow.
And I think the guy that helped keep it to just one was one Mr. Boye Mafe, who dropped into coverage in the middle of the field as Deebo Samuel was, the way the defense was set up too. The linebackers dropped deep. The safeties were dropped deep. It made this nice little square for Deebo to go and settle in and had like a 5-yard cushion all the way around him, maybe even 7-yard cushion all the way around Deebo Samuel. But I don't think Brock Purdy accounted for the fact that Boye Mafe was going to drop into coverage. He got his paw up, knocked down the ball, and he had his one pass defense for the day. It was the only 2 pass defense were Devin Witherspoon and Boye Mafe, and obviously Devin Witherspoon's resulted in the interception by Jonathan Hankins. But I wanted to give a little bit of love to our other defensive linemen.
I love it. And you don't love it very, very much. You don't often see a PBU by your edge. It just doesn't, just by the nature of it, doesn't happen that often. Beautiful play, a little makeup speed by Mafe, gets mitts on it. Brandon, there's been so many times and on different 3 and 3 outs or recap shows or whatever, or what ifs, where I'm calling for deflected passes. I don't mean the spoon one, because that's just like great coverage, stupid ball, basically a Purdy turdy, shouldn't have thrown it, but Spoon's so good. But I mean, when you get your mitt on it, whether that's at the line or whether it's a PBU like the Mafe one you just called out. But in this game, we had quite a number of times where Purdy's throwing the ball and it's hitting, it's some Karch Karai going on, my man. It's hitting one of our guys' hands. It's being deflected. There's like sacks, tackles for a loss. But for me, right up there on that podium of like things that deflate teams is getting the ball batted at the line or batted the way Mafe did. We saw a lot more of that, at least just more volume of that this game. And man, it came at a perfect time in our season, because now at 5-5, Brandon, I really feel like, well, I just know we have life, we have juice in this season again. And the way our defense is playing, we got to string it together and stack it. The way we're playing, dude, we can go on this run. And now we go against a quarterback who's about 5'4". So another great opportunity to get our mitts on balls, because the dude is simply just short.
Hey, and I just can't wait to see who the MVC is going to be, Clinton.
All right, perfect. So, as everybody here knows, I would think we do the MVC, that stands for the most valuable cranny. Now, it's been a little bit of a rough season and a big stretch. We had the 3D printer. I know we texted about it earlier, so that do not have to be all dramatic about it every single time. Brandon, I know the MVC is completely operational, fully functional, and working. And thank you for sending me that text. Brandon understands. I get tense. I get nervous. The day goes on. I'm like, how's the machine? Is the 3D printer working? How's the MVC machine? He preempted that and said, he showed me a little sneak peek of it. Printing, said, it's working. It's working, bud. So Brandon, thank you for alleviating my anxiety when you sent that over like 1:12 this afternoon. I appreciate that, Brandon.
I know you were a little worried, but our engraver is also worried that after a big week like this, if they're going to need to go like deep into the engravement, or maybe write it in, I don't know, 6-point font.
So I mentioned the word sneaky sunset. So I want to be very, very sneaky, and I want to show the engraver that this week we're giving him a bit of a time off too. The MVC is going to Jalen Sundell. By the way, not center, fullback / center, number 61, and a very short inscription for being very, very sneaky. The only thing, Brandon, I want that second very underlined. Can you please make sure the engraver gets the second very underlined?
Make sure the comma gets in there. Make sure the underline gets in there. That it seems doable. They're going to be very happy they don't have to go overboard in terms of lineage.
Yes, and for those who are like, what the heck does Jalen Sundell look like? Well, I now know, and you all now know as well. Great beard, clearly like a Manscaped thing going on there. And Jalen Sundell. Now, Brandon, this is a player, sometimes DK, he's got awards, he's got accolades, doing Hulu commercials. But Jalen Sundell, you got to figure he's going to be going around the VMAX showing everybody and their grandma the 3-and-3 out MVC trophy this week. What do you think?
I think it's impressive too, because and maybe we need to have this engraved on there as well. One snap and one MVC trophy. Dude went 1 for 1.
Dude, if it could be one thing, be efficient, right? So Sundell deserves that. And we might have to, just keep that in the catalog there to understand that probably has never happened before. And the likelihood of it happening ever again, it's pretty slim. So 1 for 1, you can't do it any better than that. Jalen Sundell, he is our MVC. Congrats to Jalen. The very physical trophy will be on its way to the VMAC. Maybe even by tomorrow, right?
Oh, well, I mean, we do have to make sure that very gets underlined. So let's give it a little extra time.
A little extra time.
And we can overnight it, and then Mr. Sundell can show it off to all of his teammates, and they'll be very excited. They'll be like, dude, did you even play in this game? And he's like, yeah, remember, I was in for the one snap where we scored. How is it not that obvious?
He's a big enough dude. I know we've talked about in the past, like maybe making it into like a Flavor Flav clock style, necklace, and maybe Sundell, that's all he's got to do.
How did Sundell not get a game ball? Coach Mike gave out 5 of them, and he forgot to give one to Sundell.
Yeah. And there's other players too. I don't think Jason Myers got one. Jason Myers is darn good. So, but what is also very good, and frankly, my favorite part of 3-and-3 out, why we do this in the first place, is our section called From the Flock. And of course, Brandon, it is good to remind people, if they're enjoying this, how can they become a member of the flock so they could participate in the Discord, out on Facebook. And now for the first time ever, we're bringing some Discord members, some flockers live with us in just a few moments. But what should they do if they're not quite there yet?
Yes, you can go to getintheflock.com and support us at $3 a month and above, and it gets you into our Discord. And that's where you find the 3 in, 3 out channel, where you leave your 3 ins, your 3 outs. You're not even limited to 3 ins or outs. You can just you can pile on as many as you want, and we will get to those coming up. And we have some live members to bring into. It's pretty exciting.
It is. It is very exciting. We're going to start there. We are going to go through the Discord comments as well, but we wanted to mix it up a little bit. And to Brandon's credit, Brandon, I just want the world to understand that Brandon's great. And what do I mean by that? Not only is a great dude, but I text him, of course, about the MVC. He says, "Don't worry about it, buddy. MVC, the trophy's fine. 3 printers going great." And I said, "Hey, could we bring people on live for this? Can we mix it up and just see what happens?" And Brandon goes, "Sure." So he's willing to try things on a whim. First time we're ever doing it. And I know in the queue first, I believe was Ryan. So I'm going to bring him up here first. There we go. What is up? There he is.
Hey.
Ryan, what's up, dude? Please tell folks if you're cool with it, either your last name, your Discord handle, just so folks could put a face to the name, et cetera, because even for us, might be the first time we're seeing people in real life or hearing the voice, and that's exciting. But love the hat, by the way, dude.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I go by Ryan911 on YouTube and Twitter, and then I'm Frost.
I've been pronouncing it wrong the whole time. I've been saying Ryan. It's Ryan.
What are you gonna do? I'll answer to whatever. I mean, I don't
yeah, perfect. Well, for folks out there, this is Frost in the Discord. Of course, I call him Coach because he has all the best ideas. So I just scream at him in Discord passionately. And for those that don't know, this is our live executive producer. So Ryan, dude, awesome to have you on. And you win for best hat for sure, as Amy's saying. So, dude, what did you like the most? What's the nook? What's the cranny you want to call out while you're here with us?
Okay. My favorite in of all goes to Kobe Bryant for sure. On the very last 49ers offensive play, he came screaming in and he just nails this dude, and then he falls down, and I'm like, no. Mm-hmm. And then he hops right back up and pushes him out of bounds, and I was like, thank God, because I thought that dude was just going to bounce off Kobe and then hit the first down, and we were going to be very upset. But it turns out Kobe got back on his feet and made the play. So
love that. And we've suffered enough, Brandon, with like 49ers and very specifically Debo last couple of years, or Kittle just bouncing off our guys. So for Ryan to call that out, be like a little bit of like a, just a moment of panic, but then a hero's arc and a redemption song, and we get him out of bounds, and our Seahawks are victorious. Brandon, anything you saw from Kobe, and is he stacking performances for you that you like seeing?
He was, yeah. Kobe, he did finish in the top 3 in PFF grades too. So even though we know that Ernest Jones should be up there, Kobe is getting recognized. And that was a big moment for Kobe too. And overall, a good game by Kobe, because he was one of the ones helping really take away that deep middle of the field. And when I say there weren't any big plays, he was one of the reasons why. And so, yeah, thanks to Ryan for calling him out, man.
Yeah, dude. Frost. Yeah. Ryan, awesome, dude. Thank you a ton. All right, we're going to pull in. I think we got Nate Schutz next. So let's get Nate on screen. Here we go. Nate, man, what's up, dude? You've been a great flocker yourself. Really a lot of comments out there. Very funny in the Discord. And it's awesome for me, Brandon. I don't know about you, but I love seeing people's faces. This is great. So now we get to see, what does Nate sound like? I think I know what he sounds like, but I have no idea. Nate, take it away, dude.
Oh, Nate's on mute.
No, it's okay. It's his first time here. First time. It might just be his headset.
It might also be Discord. Sometimes.
Am I on mute?
There you go.
Hey,
perfect.
Okay.
Hey, we're doing it live. It's all good. Nate, you sound great.
My apologies. All right. Should I do an out since we just did it in? All right. I hate to be
no rules. It's yours. Take it away whichever way you want to take it.
Hate to be a pessimist, but I gotta call out Ty Okada for falling for the pump fake on the Brock Purdy run.
Yeah.
And an overarching thing of Seahawks leaving their feet, just jumping and diving, and AJ Barner, jump man himself, jumping all over. So, but I love it.
That's a good one to talk about real quick, or just to get into Nate and Brandon. When Ty Okada left his feet, for me, kind of gave like a Super Mario Brothers NES style, like he's jumping for the mushroom. It was like one hand up, like we could dance if we want to. There was no safety dance. There was nothing. It was just like, what are we doing, dude? Do you chalk it up to him just being maybe a little nervous? Well, most snaps he's got in the NFL, but I guess he's got to wear the out, right?
The weird thing is that for guys to go through high school and to be coached not to leave their feet, for them to make it all the way through college and be coached not to leave their feet, and then also to make it to the NFL and then to continue to do that. But it's not like we can just chalk it up to it being our backup free safety out of Montana State. I think we've seen Boye Mafe do it too. So I think it's just one of those things that's partly instinctual. It's one of the reasons why quarterbacks will go for the pump fake, because 1 out of every 10 times they might actually get it. And yeah, Okada got it on this one and ended up giving up the first down when he probably could have had pretty short of the sticks.
And they blamed Job for it at first.
Yeah, that's right. Then they realized that when they looked at the all 22 angle, right? They're like, oh no, that's Okada. They did try to pin it on Job. The other thing too was like, I know it, may be difficult to judge depth when you're coming right at a guy like that, but he was also like 2 or 3 yards over the line of scrimmage. He was not even, he couldn't throw the ball if he wanted to. So, all right, well, Ty, we'll just chalk that one up. It's a great job by Nate. Appreciate that. And we got one more flocker who's in the queue here. Brandon, why don't you bring him on board?
Yeah, we've got Bennett in the queue.
Nice.
Bennett, welcome on in. It looks like you're on mute. Go ahead and come off mute and let us know who you got for you're in or you're out.
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I got on a little late, so I didn't hear the first couple of ins or outs. But I wanted to call out Abe Lucas. He's back. And it was immediately noticeable, like he never left. And so I just wanted to call him out on I had it in on our last drive in the fourth quarter. It was 3rd and 3, and it was that pass that Geno threaded right past Fred Warner.
Oh yes.
Abraham Lucas had his guy behind Geno so that Geno could step up into that throw when Bradford completely whiffed. And so Bradford's guy was coming free, and Abraham Lucas had his guy over here so Geno could step up, make that throw, deliver to JSN, keep the drive going, get us a winning touchdown. It was awesome.
Brandon, I love it so much. Talk about that a bit, and also this is living the good life, right? In the Discord, I imagine. Okay, perfect.
Living the good life.
Yeah, living the good life, man. Hey, great to put a face and voice to it as well. And you're an awesome flocker as well, dude.
Oh,
and but overall, I tweeted this. I was like, what a difference an Abe makes, right? I mean, dude, we looked. Now, it wasn't perfect, but boy, oh boy, Brandon, did the offensive line, especially just Abe Lucas in general, look a lot better. And the kind of cool part was we got A/B testing to talk about Abe because Mike Jarrell played some snaps, and it looked different when it wasn't Abe.
It looked a little bit different. So yeah, really appreciate Levine, the good life coming on in, and go Hawks, man. We're gonna I'm gonna put this out to chat. We got these Niners Tears bottles here. I want to see a vote for Ryan, a vote for Bennett, or a vote for Nate. Go ahead and put it in the chat. The first name I see twice is going to get a bottle of Niners Tears. So we'll leave that up to the folks in the chat. You can even vote for yourself if you want to. But yeah, the first name I see twice is going to get, so yes, between Nate, between Bennett, and between Ryan.
All right, very cool. Well,
also, Nate calling out here on the chat saying Mike called him the human Viking, talking about Abe Lucas.
Yes.
Here I was thinking they're all human. And the funny thing is that Abe Lucas was asked about it on Seattle Sports Radio, and whether or not he had heard that name from Coach McDonald before, and he said no, he never heard the fact that he was called the human Viking before.
Yeah, brand new there, and I think we have a winner. I think we have. You said, hey, people could put their own name in there, so Ryan gets the boost from Amy. And
there we go.
Ryan says, hey, if I could put my own name in, I'm not going to not do it, right? So our executive live producer takes it home, so he's going to get the bottle of Niners Tears. Now, Brandon, are you going to go like mosey down to, what's that called? Mission
Bay Area?
Street? Yeah, the Bay
Area?
Area, and collect some actual 49ers tiers to go in that jug?
No.
No. Okay. No. But is it now a task? Does Ryan have to go? Is this like the monkey's paw? Does he have to go on a vision quest now?
If you don't fill this bottle by 12 midnight on next Saturday, that girl from the ring comes out of the well and tracks you down.
The problem with going,
so it's kind of a monkey paw type of thing. Sorry, Ryan.
Yeah,
I should have told you that first.
Yeah, it was in the fine print, but we didn't say it. The problem with going to San Francisco to try and collect tiers is you're very likely to get that bottle full of piss before you do tiers. But hey, San Francisco is real nice this time of year. All right, so we still got our friend the flock, and let's get back at it. I will just kick it back off since we're already in it, and we got Amy in the Chiefs here with us. Design Pete's Beach House. She wrote the first one was in under center. Yeah, man, Brandon, we start the game and we are under center to start the game. And K9's getting touches kind of early. That got her jazzed. It had me jazzed.
It was nice to see that early. They did go away from it, especially in the third quarter. I think there were a total of 2 snaps under center in the third quarter, but they got to it early, and that was nice to see. But hopefully that message, it continues to come across and we see it more.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
We've got Mr. Phil, 3 feeling good in the Discord. Mafe blocked a field goal before they got to attempt the field goal. 3rd and 23 knocked down. See, there was my in right there.
Yeah, Mr. Phil was on it. You guys are on the same wave. All right, we got Right Hand Dan saying in thick pick. Of course, he is talking about Beefy Boy, Mr. Hanky, Jonathan Hankins going up. Hey, as much as I love me some DK Metcalf, I got to tell you, Jonathan Hankins knows how to high point a ball, Brandon.
He does. Yeah, I almost gave my Brandon to Hankins for that high point. It was that impressive.
It was.
Carr with the out, giving it to whoever we're blaming for the awful snap. And it did seem to be that there was a strong consensus as to whose fault it was. And it was about 50% Olu, 50% Geno, and Olu took some of the blame, and I think Coach Mike put some of the blame on Geno. So there's no wrong answer. They both ended up being to blame.
The best part is it was fun, first of all, that we were arguing in the Discord while it was happening because we're watching the game live. Another reason that you should all go to getintheflock.com and chip in a few bucks. Besides getting value from the show, you get to hang out with great flockers. And we were arguing about it for quite a while. And then we got Frost, who is, of course, Ryan, but he says, in Adam, Clinton, Brandon, and Phil arguing. He says, drama. It's good for the ratings. So him capturing what I was just saying.
Nate Schutz coming in with a live in via the chat. Can we give John Schneider an in for not falling victim to the sunk cost fallacy and getting rid of bad linebackers for getting good linebackers midseason? Nate, one thing I'd have to say to you is that, maybe if you would have given an in, maybe you would have gotten more votes in the chat.
But then you have to go get the piss bottle from San Francisco. So maybe it's better he did.
Maybe it worked out better.
But it is a cool topic, and that, you got to have beyond thick skin, and you've got to be able to stay calm and not, go read every tea leaf or go read every Twitter poll about you if you're John Schneider, and just make the moves you believe in. And whether they are the right moves, the wrong moves, he has a way about him. And I will say he is not afraid to shake things up and roll the dice, and did this week. We talked about it. We're like, this season could go off the rails completely, and it might still. I don't think it will now, but it could have. Or he's making the right calls. And we didn't utter Tyrese Knight's name yet, but he played pretty darn good. And Ernest Jones played really, really good. So it's fun stuff. All right, let's see. We're going to skip down to, I think it's Never Rum. He goes in. Bosa's dodgy hip injury makes the 49ers, not so hot again. Hey, did we get a little bit lucky that Bosa got knocked out? Yes. Did we take advantage of it like a team should? Yes. So too bad. It's great.
We've got Garen of Guaranteed Barbecue here and giving a couple ins and an out. In defenders were in the correct spots today. In for Geno, not trying to pass for 1,000,000 yards, and out. We had to come from behind, but you know what? Turn that out into an end. We got to come from behind and rip the hearts out of the stupid Niners.
What a beautiful drive. What I've watched that sequence a lot. I got a lot of Bills fans in my life, so they're of course watching the Josh Allen touchdown, and I'm over here sending them like I know you guys had a good week and congratulations, but did you see this picture of Geno screaming with the 49er facing the earth? Did you see that one? Because that's just as iconic. All right, we got B-Wags biceps. He says in. He goes, this is 6 in territory for me. So effing good. He says, finally beating those bleep heads again. And yeah, man, this for me was off the couch and I am screaming. I forget exactly what, Brandon, but it was like something like, go ahead, Geno, go ahead, Geno. Just as fired up as I've been on the season, off the couch, screaming my face off when he crosses that threshold. Man, I'm still fired up.
We've got JSN Jiggy with it saying in, my eyes not bleeding from the run defense. On the same day, my ears were bleeding from Greg Oldson.
Oh boy, oh boy. I did not like him as a commentator. And I want to say that I really enjoy, I know people are going to throw tomatoes at me. I really love Chris Collinsworth as a color man. Why? I know people don't like his chortle, don't like his voice. The dude dissects things in real time and then replays them a second later with stuff I would not have seen live. No way would I see it. And he's good at it. He's been good at it for years. Olsen just says dumb stuff that I didn't find very accurate or useful. Like the exact opposite of what I want in a color man.
I would agree. In terms of the analysis that Collinsworth provides, it's far and away some of the better color analysis that you're going to get.
Let's go to Rising Hawkra. He says in for MM. Of course, Mike McDonald and the C fence. Also JSN. Geno beating the Whiners. Rising Hawkra was just on a bit of a heater there. He didn't know where to go. Instead of 4 ins, he just put it all into 1 in. And hey, I do that sometimes too, dude. I get it.
Carly Perkins with the in via the chat. Nice. I'm still not over how perfect an end to that game Geno running it in is. Revenge for that Purdy rushing touchdown earlier that game. And the best thing about it too is that because it was Geno Smith, it blew the minds of all Niners fans out there. I can't believe we lost to Geno catfishing Smith. they just the fact that it was him, because they were just so sure that after going 5-0 against a Geno Smith led Seahawks, that they were never going to lose to Geno Smith ever.
There's so much I could say about their fan base. I'll just breathe deeply and say it's lovely to watch them just flounder around. And it was so nice. Keep underestimating Geno. Please keep underestimating Geno, because again, the rest of the league, if you don't watch this guy week in, week out, if you don't look at the hurdles he has to overcome with a bad offensive line, a team that really can't run the ball, and we're still 5-5 and we got life again, please keep underestimating that guy, because he's going to keep just stacking W's. All right, we got Josh Tehuman back in the Discord. Josh is another just amazing flocker. He put out the tweet that was about when Lenore and K9 got tussling, and K9 bodies him just flat out. If this was like a wrestling match, like a high school wrestling match, game over. He's pinned in 2 seconds. By the way, dude, K9's strong, man. Between his back flips, his front flips, his Australian breakdancing and everything else he's doing, you don't want to mess with K9. That guy is an absolute rock. Lenore, he found out.
This was one of my favorite plays from the game, and it all happened after the play was over, because Lenore, he comes running over to K9 to get in his grill, and Walker just grabs him and puts him on the ground. And I know that they both ended up drawing 15-yard penalties. I was a little bit worried that it was going to go to K9, like they weren't going to catch Lenore for being the first guy in.
Right.
So I was okay that K9 was the one to finish it and also pick up the flag. That to me didn't matter.
Right. I agree. It's just, I'm a big hockey fan, just the NHL hockey. And, one of the beautiful parts about hockey, and I use that word very purposely, is that 2 grown men could drop their gloves, have at it, and they go to a box for 5 minutes. And that's that. That's it. It's just,
they're over.
That's all. Yep. That's it. We're over. What happened to me?
I don't know. You're in the penalty box all of a sudden.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, what is okay? I don't know what's happening either. I don't know how to fix it. So for now, let's just keep on going with the audio, and I'll tinker. But take it away.
We're almost done anyway. We've got a few more ins, a few more outs. In we start Olu and Cross. This is from Josh DeHuman. We start Olu and Cross, and we beat the 49ers. So what you're saying is that this is the best offensive line we've had all season.
Yes, it absolutely is. I'm trying to switch my camera, see if that does it. I don't. All right. A little less quality, but at least in some ways it's moving. So, which is good. All right. So let's get back over to the Discord. Oh, let's go with Flocktimus. Flocktimus, of course, Keith Ketover. He goes out, not having a play to run when trying to get the D to jump and seeing them totally give up on the down. So this is where we end up punting when it was 4th and 3, and we end up punting in 4th and 8, and we don't execute a great punt. Flocktimus's point is that you get to the line and you're trying to do this hard count, and he's pointing out that like Bosa's just sitting there basically twiddling his thumbs. So Flocktimus is like, if they're not ready defensively, why not just run the play? And he's saying that to see it, it'd be really cool to see a team realize, okay, they think we're going to try to get them to jump. They're really lax. And he's pointing out that Bosa was like literally just like not in position. Freaking hike the ball. And be prepared to do that. I actually think it'd be kind of cool to see a team pull it off, and I think it's certainly a neat nook and cranny to discuss. So thank you, Keith.
Yeah, appreciate it, Keith. And yeah, your camera going out of focus reminds me. I don't know if you ever saw the Woody Allen movie Deconstructing Harry, but it has the movie's okay, but it has this great scene with Robin Williams where he's lost his focus. And the entire time he's on screen, he is literally the only person that is out of focus in terms of the camera. And you reminded me of that. Gosh, it's got to be almost 30 years old now.
Yeah. So, well, I have never seen that. I probably won't, but it's not because of you're mentioning it. But you know how witty of Woody to put the guy out of focus. So,
and it's Robin Williams though. It's
that
very
I
good
like.
scene.
That I like. I could appreciate that. That guy's funny.
All right. Who we got left?
Let's save Hawk Van Dyke. We got a few more below that we haven't talked to about yet. Let's see. Just a few more. So these are some repeat people. How about Grubhub? You see that one down there?
Grubhub. Do I see that one? Yes. Is it too late to give an in for Geno using his legs? I wish he would do it more often. Not all the time, just a little more often. And we heard Dave Wyman talking about it too. Of course, he's the color analyst on Seahawks radio, and he was doing his Wyman and Bob show after the game. And yeah, he's giving it to Geno a little bit too. He wants to see him use his legs, but you know, it's so much more fun too when Geno can pull it out and get those first downs when we need it the most, especially on that final drive when the defense is maybe. They're not thinking that Geno's just going to pull it down and run it. They're more concerned with the pass. So maybe they're doing a little more man to man, and Geno can find a way to get the win with his legs. It made it sweet. It
does make it that much sweeter. And I will applaud Geno's decisiveness, right? You take off with 13 seconds to go, 14 seconds to go. Obviously crosses the goal line with 12 seconds to go poetically, but you get tackled, dude, in bounds. We're probably not getting a snap off because we're so spread out. And then are we even getting a chance to down it? Maybe. And then the other one that he ran also, the other first down up the middle, very decisive, just sees it, goes. It's not a draw play. This is not a Josh Allen draw play. They do that all the time in Buffalo with very good reason because it works. This is just Geno ripping it down, being like, okay, that's enough of a seam. I know what I can go get. And he's gone. Would it be cool to see a little more of it? Yeah, I think it could be. But again, it's about the deployment that if they don't see it all game and then fourth quarter, boom, it hits them. It's just likely that much more effective. And if they're certainly not spying Geno because he doesn't deploy it that often, right? So it is a nice give and take you point out there, Brandon, for sure. All right, let's go with Josh DeHuman, the other Flocktimus, and then we'll end with Hawk Van Dyke. I'll take Josh real quick. He goes in, held McCaffrey to under 100 yards. And that's the first time since 2019, since he was a Panther, that I think we did that. That's awesome. He says held the 49ers to under 20 points. Again, this is the first since 2018. So back-to-back weeks, Brandon, a good Rams offense, 13 points in regulation, still a pretty good 49ers offense, 17 points. I will take that all day as we get ready for the Cardinals.
All right. Well, sorry, Flocktimus. I'm going with the chat. Hawk fan Cunningham with the in to Geno throwing for over 300 yard. What? Maybe this week coming up because that wasn't this game. So yes, coming up. This is a future in for Geno.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's
300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions against the Cardinals. I like giving future ins too.
Yes, I listen. We are in the multiverse. We're flowing here. Let's freeze frame that and take that to the future. So what do we got?
Elaine Rez giving it in for Steve Rabel as Geno touchdown call.
Man, the Rabel calls like that evening. I don't get a chance to sync it up. I know Amy does that where she's got Rabel live, and I just don't even have a chance to get Rabel because I live in Connecticut. I probably could some way, but I just don't bother with it. But later that night when I'm back out on Twitter or the next morning when Seahawks start putting the highlights out, man, that it's one of my favorite things in the world. That guy is such a joy. All right. Often a joy. We have our buddy Hawk Van Dyke. We're going to close that with him. He says, in first of many division W's in for Big Mac. Absolutely. Out. Yet another team that faces Seattle with the plus rest week. He's talking about the Cardinals who were able to sit back and watch this game last week, comfort their home, dissect it, get healthy. Has not been good for us so far. However, he comes back with an in, says, in, everyone wins, pick them, except for stupid Jared, who picked the 49ers. I'm sure Evie's got something to say about that, Brandon.
I can't wait for it. Looking forward to hearing from Evie. Looking forward to hearing from anybody else who emailed in. Go Hawks at seahawkerspodcast.com ahead of our flagship episode that we will be recording tomorrow, Wednesday night. And so look for that later this week. Make sure you're subscribed. YouTube.com/SeahawkersPodcast. Also, thanks to Ryan, who came in as our live executive producer, also coming in and giving the live in along with Bennett and along with Nate. So really appreciate everybody helping to support the show and coming on in and delivering some good ins and outs.
Yeah, that was an absolute blast. So if you liked bringing in the live flock, I enjoyed it, but we want to hear from you. Drop it in the comments, whether that's on Discord. Even more helpful if it's out on YouTube after this. Let us know if you thought it was really fun. I think it was cool. And Brandon, now we get to turn this page, man. Now we get to turn this page. We get to look for that in from the future. We get to see if Geno can put together a real clean sheet game. Look, the Cardinals are pretty good. I'm going to really dive into this tape. They can run the ball. Kyler is moving the ball. Defensively, they're somehow stringing together. They got new DBs, like rookie guys out there playing good football. This will be a nice little test. However, Brandon, just like I had that feeling last week, I think this is a train going to keep them moving, and I think we're about to get another W, get this one at home, and put some pressure on the entirety of the NFC West.
And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.